good to be here with you. Today we are going to go live with a conversation that we're going to have with Shermain Melton. He's Shermain, someone who inspires me on a regular basis. He's a go-to person in my life to not just have conversations, but he challenges me. He's someone who understands courage. And in addition to courage, he understands a lot of like the lived experience of leaders right now. And so, like, whenever I talk to Shermain, I know that great things happen. When we got into the 10,000 minute live game, I'll explain more about that in a bit. Shermain was one of the people I knew I wanted to bring on and have some conversation with. So let me bring him into the conversation right now. Shermain, it is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to have you in space with me here. I'm gonna put on my headphones so we don't get any reverb or anything coming back at us. But thanks for saying yes to this here.
You're welcome, Niiamah. Thanks for inviting me, man. It's always good to be with you and around you and in your presence. So thank you.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. Like I was saying earlier, that we have the 10,000 minutes. We call it 10K live, right? And so I have a game that I'm playing that's 10,000 minutes before the end of the year. I have to actually like up my game in the game because I realize like I'm not anywhere near near that right now, but like 700 some minutes. I'm like there's a lot more to get to 10,000. And I'm actually I'm in this place where it's like it's gonna be easy to be like it's not gonna happen. Let me get it ready for next month. Another part of me is like, no. I'm like, this is it. Like, let's figure out how we can get there in a couple months, in a couple weeks, right? And so I initially sent you a message, man, because the thing about this 10,000 minutes game is that like it's so much time, right? In such a short period of time that like I no longer had room to try and perfect. I'm like, I just got to get the minutes. Like every day that goes by is, I don't know, 24 times, however many minutes that ends up being, right? 24 times 60. So I reached out to you because I was like, part of this was like, I need to play more. And I also realized that like, while I like to talk, there's something, I don't know, inherently boring, I guess, about talking to myself, and like, and so I was like, let me go reach out to people. And I had a one day, like a spur of the thing. I was like, who can I reach out to? I was like, oh, I definitely know who. It changed from who can I reach out to who do I want to talk to, right?
Yeah.
And Shermain, you came in. And so we're playing off of that. I'm still working on some things behind the scenes to make everything happen. But I do want to just say, like, out of everyone in my world, like, you're one of the first people who came to mind. And I'm really glad you said yes.
Thanks, Niiamah. I appreciate the invitation. I know that anytime we interact, anytime I spend time with you, I'm gonna leave excited. I'm gonna leave changed, and I don't know how we're gonna play, but I'm here for it. I'm here for
it. Man, I don't know either. Like, this is I honestly said, like, Niiamah Ashong and Shermain Melton are jamming in real time. And I feel like for right now, like that's one of the major keys that's here. So in a bit, I'm going to have you introduce yourself to any outliers who are watching both live or in the future, and we'll kind of pick up from there. But why don't we do that, Shermain? Why don't you introduce yourself? I've shared a little bit about who you are to me. I might share more as it goes along, but why don't you let outliers know more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Yeah, thank you, Niiamah. So my name is Shermain Melton, Outliers. I'm glad to be here with you. I am on a mission to end loneliness for 9 billion people. I'm on an impossible mission. And it feels really good to be on that mission of ending loneliness. I'm writing a book titled The Loneliness of the African American Leader. And this book is for accomplished African American men who know the struggles of leading in a white world. And so I'm happy to be here. Niiamah, my tiny book, I want to have it written here in 3 weeks by the end of the year. And so you and I have some different challenges that we're trying to knock out. So yeah.
Well, this is like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, outliers, no outliers. Like we like Shermain, I didn't know that it was getting done by the end of the year. But it makes sense to like kindred spirits, right? In many different ways, right?
Yep.
Many different ways. And there's things that you do that parallel where I'm at, and things that I'm at where you're like, oh, I've been there, I've done that. Like, here goes how I'm thinking. And one of the things y'all should know about Shermain is that Shermain is someone who does not hold back in challenging thinking. He has I don't know what you call it, like the Melton moments, or like the Shermain, like he just like he'll just come out and be like, "This is what I need you to know. This is what I think
Yep.
you should know." So we'll see how that plays along. I'm curious. So what's coming online for me as we're in space is really that element of less about like the challenge of the time frame of like writing a tiny book in the next 3 weeks and me with a 10,000 minutes live. But what really grasped me was that was when you said like I'm on a mission to end loneliness for 9 billion people, right? And what grasped me about that was like Shermain, we've been so aligned in so many different things, and Outliers Edge is the core reason this exists is because of belonging. Like where I'm used to being an outsider,
Yep.
being in the 3% club. So when you talk
Yep.
about the African American male, like African American leader, like I'm like I get it, I know it,
Yep.
and I know that there's the specifics in there. But
Yep.
what grasped me, what called me here was the fact that like you led with it, and I think that there's something real for me right now as we're talking, where everything you're seeing right now, all the technical things, whether we use Restream or we use Zoom or we go on and we're having a 10,000 minutes live or writing a tiny book, like all those things to me only matter if it has the heart in it, right? If you know what you're about. And
Yep.
I feel like this would be a really great opportunity to talk about that because there's a part of me that like that for myself, I get what I'm about, but I haven't the flag isn't fully in the ground. And of course, I've only
Mm,
done things for Outliers for years, but there's still a nuance of this where I think it's a difference between yes, you can go and loneliness, and the other thing being like, and I'm getting it done this year. Like we're writing this book so that like all of next year this is out in the world. So I'd love to talk to you about like the difference between like knowing that you have something to offer, seeing that it's there, telling other people because it's not the first time I've heard about this year,
yep.
and now
Yep.
you're like actually writing the book. You're
Yep.
researching, you're doing all this, and now it's all
Yep.
coming out. So I'd love to jam with you a little bit on that. Would that work for you, Shemaine?
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me check in with you first. Like, where was the transition for you? Like, where was the transition between, okay, yeah, this is what I do, and I'm telling people this, and I'm bringing it in. I see you acting on this in a way that you weren't like. I didn't feel like you were acting on it beforehand. I feel it was always present, but then you're
Yeah.
like, I'm doing this program that was not this,
Yeah.
and now you're like, oh, I'm actually doing the thing. So tell me about that
Yeah.
transition for you.
That's a great question, Niiamah. Let me see if, as I think back, like it's been a journey. Um, what I really hear you asking is, Shermain, when did you actually own it? When did you
Mhm.
say, you know what, this is mine? When did you put your flag in the ground and say, you know what, this is my mission. This is my mission that I'm going to
Mhm.
take. And that moment came 2 months ago. So October, I ran an event in my first international live event in Toronto, Canada. It
Mhm.
was a 3-day event, and day 3 was what is your impossible? It was like Impossible Mission Day, is what I titled it, and that was led by a colleague of mine named Chris Frolick. And Chris, I think you may know Chris as well. And Chris has this impossible mission framework, and he took me through his framework. And um, there was a moment during that time when he said, Shermain, he said, why does this matter? Why does loneliness matter? Like, what was the moment where it started to matter for you? And then I had to sit there and think about it. And I recalled this moment in high school where I was in ninth grade, math class, algebra class. Uh, I was in class, and my friend Dan would he sat behind me. And so Dan came in on this Monday morning, and I, turned around and I said, hey, good morning, or, whatever it is. Hey, man. And I could tell something was off in Dan. And I didn't know what it was. And he sat down and he said, dude, my mom committed suicide this weekend.
Mm.
And he said, you know what? I'm thinking about doing the same thing. And it was that moment, Niiamah, where I was speechless. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to comfort him. I was lost. But it was that moment where I grasped the depth of loneliness and in my own life. So that was my first experience of the ultimate effect of loneliness. And so it was that moment where I said, where it was kind of that seed of where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna take this on. I want to do something about it. In addition, for me being one of 7 siblings, so growing up in a large family and feeling lonely in the midst of the crowd, and so it was that moment that was the origin. But at the event that I put on, he helped me. Chris helped me draw out that story, and it was that moment where I was like, yes, like this is it.
Mm,
So yeah,
All right, so let's play with this a little bit here. Thanks, man. Thanks for bringing it in.
you're welcome.
That's real. Like it's good to. I'm glad you're connected to it. All
Mhm.
right. It's what's playing out as you're saying this too is a question for me here that lies in. Here goes the question I have for you. The question I have is this. So I've known you for years now, all right? I've known you for years now, and you've
Yep.
been on the component of ending loneliness across the world from like the 9 billion people for a good like I would say probably at least 2 years right now. It's been something that's been there. Would you say?
Well, I would say the 9 billion bit
Yeah.
that came 3 months ago in
Okay, that came
yeah,
through.
that's all
I
brand
will say
new. Yep.
I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I'm like yes, I don't remember him saying 9 billion,
Yeah.
but ending loneliness has always has been there for like
I would say at
for
least a year. I would say that's been there for at least a year. It's
yeah.
always been, I would say it's always been on the surface, but to
Yep.
me, actually starting to own it and then
Yeah.
saying I'm going to write this book, yeah, it's been about a year to 2 years, something
Okay.
like that. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I want to dive in a little bit because I feel like it's like I want to know what is the impact of like let's pull this out. I want to know like the impact of like Chris pulling that out of you being able to like go back and reconnect with that, and how that changed the actions you were taking. And I mean, like the distinction that I'm looking at right now is like it's been a year, and you're writing the book right now. You were in a research phase of like inviting people to
yep,
for conversations around this,
yep,
right? Um, and then and what I was seeing happen externally in the world, right? Were like different projects that you were taking on, different programs that you were making, different things that might have tied to courage, which I've known you to be about,
yep,
and that's something that's another thing where people are like they've known you to be one way, now you're
yep,
switching into something else, right?
yep, yep,
So I'm saying this as someone who's been on the journey with you here, where I'm
yep,
like, okay, I've known this has been present, this has been here. Like I know
yep,
that you're about this. You've been taking aligned action in
yep,
it, right? But
yep,
it like at least in talking to you today, I'm like, oh, he decided to jump. Like he was hanging out on the cliffs of loneliness. He was doing like he was having conversations as it
yep,
made sense. Like
yep,
you were making the progress, but now
yep,
you're like, I'm getting this book done in 3 weeks. I'm like,
yep,
oh, he's here, y'all. He's here.
yep,
He's this is happening. So
yep,
that's that point right there. That's what I'm really trying to pinpoint in there. As someone who is like, I'm here for outliers, but then I might go talk to entrepreneurs overall or leaders overall. And like on my end, the reason that this is so significant is I'm like, oh, what does it mean to like know that you're on a mission, to know that there's something drawing you forward, but to be on the cliff, on the edge of jumping rather than having jumped over, on the like, and that to me, when I'm meeting you right now, we're talking about ownership and so on and so forth. There's a level that just feels different. It feels
yeah,
different. And you let me know if maybe it isn't different. Maybe you're like, hey, no,
yeah.
this is still like I'm on the same page, but like you let me know there. What would you say is behind that?
Yeah, what's behind that's a great question. So as I'm thinking right now, I'm trying to process what you just asked. So it's that moment before the jump.
Yeah.
Right. So
I
you're
feel like I
asking
just like
yeah,
I feel like you are to me it's like, oh, he's aligning everything behind this now
yes,
rather than this being a side project that could be done. Like,
yes,
and that to me is like, I'm like, what changed?
yeah. Here's what changed. I finally realized that my life, loneliness has been a part of my entire life. my entire life, being Black in America, being a man in America, being gay, being Christian, like all these levels of loneliness have been a part of my life. And I realized that it caused me, feeling lonely caused me to show up different ways in different spaces. And in ways where I was not owning my power. And so I finally, Niiamah, I finally got to a space, to a place where with that event I was telling you about in Toronto, where I finally started to own it and to realize that I'm owning this. This is gonna be a part of, this is my mission, and everything I create from here forward is going to connect to that mission of ending loneliness by creating spaces and places where people can belong and feel seen and valued and like they matter. And so it was a realization moment that this is it, and I know this topic deeply. And so there, I felt like I knew this topic deeply. Hell, that's how I changed. When I was 20 years old, I became a general manager of a Pizza Hut restaurant, 40 employees, $1 million restaurant, and that store needed to be turned over. Creating belonging and connection and humanity is how I turned that store around. And so, Niiamah, there was a realization moment that loneliness, I've been solving for loneliness all my life. So I know it deeply, and I've been solving for it. I've been doing this. And so it felt right. It felt connected. It felt aligned. And yeah, it just felt like me to own this lane.
All right, let's do a couple things. One, we're coming up on a half hour, so we had 30 minutes on the calendar. If you need to jump, go jump.
I'm
I want to
good.
make sure
Yep.
you're
I'm good.
all right. I want to make sure I don't get in the way of this book
Got
getting
you.
written
No, we
and putting out there. All right, I'm getting my minutes. You
Yeah.
got if you want though. This is the way I would play is to any extent in that this conversation you want to use any of this here, I'll give you the transcripts of it. I'm all about 100% of what I do is gets transcripted, gets put into things, we repurpose it, all that stuff there. So
Awesome.
just know that we're gonna keep building on it.
Cool.
So I'm gonna be like a dog with this one, right? Dog with a bone on this.
Yeah.
I'm looking for, I'm hearing what you're saying and it feels good, right? And I still don't feel the difference between the last 6 months of you and the last 3 months or whatever it is, right? And because I think that's my thing. I'm like, I know that everything you're saying is so true to me, right? Everything you're saying is so true to me, and it would be easy to sit on the sideline. It would be easy to I guess what I'm saying is that while everything you're saying to me makes sense, it also felt like it was present, months back when you're like, hey man, I'm launching this group program and I'm doing this thing, right? And so that was there already. And I don't want to we don't have to just keep hammering in on it right away, but I'm gonna keep pointing to it. I'll ask a different question right now. And know that I'm asking because I'm tired of playing, I'm tired of being I play the game. I want to play it at an all-star level, but I can only really figure out the minor league level. And it's oh yeah, it's because you're still also trying to be in minor leagues on 2 or 3 different games or 2 or 3 different sports, rather than saying I'm going all-star in the one. So
Hey, Niiamah, that's the thing. So that's what shifted for me.
Yeah.
Instead of, you were speaking about courage before, that, I'm still about courage. That's still my jam. But I put loneliness it's now at the top. It's now at the forefront. It is now the foundation of everything I do. Now that requires courage to create things, to help, to create events and experiences where people can be a little less lonely. That requires courage. But I moved courage off the mountain and I put loneliness there to solve loneliness. And for me, because it was such a big part of my life, and because I know a lot of people struggle with that, it felt more aligned for me to do that. And there was more energy there when I put that as the priority, when I made that.
All right, cool. So we're gonna play with that then, right? Here goes. I'm gonna be selfish in this conversation. You good with that?
Yeah.
All right, because I'm like, oh, he's going for it. All right, if that's the case, and
let's do it. Yeah.
let's keep playing with it. So here goes a question that I've been wrestling with myself. Like you can answer it. You like I'll put the question out here. You can answer directly. You can do your Shermain thing and toss it back at me in some way.
Yep.
However we do it, we jam.
Yep.
So right now, I feel like I've been doing outliers and things related to outliers for something like 7-8 years now,
Mhm.
right? There've been something related to that since 2018, right?
Yep.
And when I was in it originally, I think it was very much like from the pure coaching, like who you are being, like let's just it was 100% being focused and so forth, right? And then
Yep.
realistically, like the business just wasn't thriving, right? And I think that happened for two reasons. One, like I do one-on-one work, but I'm not like I don't see myself as a one-on-one coach. I think there's something inherently I'm curious how you think, especially with loneliness.
Yep.
Part of the reason why I talk to outliers is because I'm like they're rarely seen, celebrated, and valued for who they are, right? And
Yep.
the reason I have this is so that they can go out in the world and be like, hey, let's go bring this, and you all are going to lead something new, right? And let's make sure
Mhm.
you can like do it in a sustainable way. So there's something that feels inherently at odds to do this outlier, like to play this game with outliers and still
Mhm.
do it on a one-on-one basis. To still be like, oh, I see that you're an outlier and it's okay that you're an outlier with me. The world may not get it yet, but go out into the world, right? There's some kind of disconnect where, like, and on a meta level, unless it's done together or visibly or whatever, like I'm actually still perpetuating the outlier, like the outlier, one of the outlier challenges or problems. Does that make sense, by the way? I'm getting that?
No, can you say that in a different way?
Yeah. So what I'm saying here is that like let's just tie it to loneliness, right?
Okay.
Right, because I think that there's a loneliness that's involved with being outliers, and
Mhm.
I'm working on my path to addressing it, right?
Mhm.
And the for me is if I was trying to take on loneliness and I having one-on-one conversations, right? Then like I don't think I'm actually hitting on like addressing the loneliness part. There's one more person that you can talk to, but like there's something about in my range of it will be different than yours. In my range of solutions, where like, oh, if I'm trying to get on loneliness, like then we should be bringing people together. Like it's not that they just have access to me because I don't have the space for every single person in the world. But if I can get
Mhm.
them if I can get them with each other, that's something. And so I guess where I'm
Yeah.
coming at is like is there's a it's almost like a philosophical element of this all for me. And then there's like a practical element as well. And I think that as time has gone on, I've kind of like been trying to figure out where do I put my foot in with like the philosophical, everyone's an outlier. Let me help you own your outlier. Let me help you bring out your brilliance out into the world and own what makes you unique in a unique way, right? One way or like okay you're a business owner and being a business owner has outlier elements and let's go talk about how do you build a business in alignment with you. It's almost like you're here to do the loneliness for 9 billion people, but you're also starting with or talking to your African American leaders first,
Yep.
and so like that juxtaposition I've been struggling with. I've been
Mm.
struggling with a lot, and like I'm curious how you're taking it now that I see that you're playing the game so fully. I'm like, all right, so how like what are we
Yeah.
doing with this?
Yeah,
Does
yeah,
this
yeah.
does this make sense? Like, and
It
when I
makes
say doesn't
perfect
make
sense.
sense, is like not just cognitively, like have you had to wrestle with this?
I have. So one of the things I'm hearing you're speaking about is impact.
Mm,
And specifically for me, as it relates to loneliness and my mission is to help one person at a time
mm.
to be a little less lonely.
I'm having like I can feel my inside. It's
I
like
see it.
roiling. It's like boiling right now. Like all right, help me. Let's see. I'm like I was about to say help me get good with this, and the part of me's like, do you want to be good with this? Right. Let's show me here because uh I wouldn't first say thank you. Thank you for letting me have an internal response. Because not everything in the world like is I don't allow most things to. Most things don't
Mm,
don't hit at that level.
yeah.
Right. So there's something that happened there. Tell us a little bit more about you missing one person a little bit. And I guess like there's an element of this where I'm like, yeah, tell me more about it. Tell me more
Yeah.
about it first.
Here's let's see, what do I want to say? Here's what I found about myself, Niiamah.
Mm,
When I focus on some huge number, my energy goes down.
Mm.
Oh, I want to help 10 billion people, whatever, then my energy goes down. But I noticed that if I say, you know what, what's the tiniest thing I can do? You know what? I'm going to serve one person today. I want to help one person be a little less lonely today. If I focus on that internally, I have more energy. There's more oomph there if I'm only focusing on one person.
Okay.
Now, what you may or may not see, I'm writing this book. Obviously, this book is going to help more than one person, but this book, I'm writing this for one person, and knowing knowing that it's going to help many more. But my only goal, my only intention is to help one person feel a little less lonely. And I'm
Okay.
trusting that that is going that the impact is going to happen if I keep that mindset, that thinking going.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. There's a couple different things. And for anyone that's watching this either not live with us in real time or watching the replay of this or listening to this at some point, like let's there's I want to ask you here because we have these conversations as a dynamic conversation. It's not just me and Shermain in this space. It's all of us. We're just the conduits of it. Almost to your point here, right, Shermain? Like I'm having this conversation with you, and at the same time, we're all it's being done on behalf of or with everyone else, right? But like as long as it's meaningful for me and you, I trust that it's going to be meaningful for anyone else. So my ask here, y'all, as you're listening to this is, hey, just like in real time, just like throw in, we could be one word, two words, whatever it is, throw in any real like insights you have or things that stick up for you. Just go ahead and toss that into the chat, put in the comments. And I'm curious for you, one of the things I heard Shermain was that you realize what gives you energy and what is taken away. And so for any of you that are watching this here, like put into the comments, let us know, continue the conversation, share with us like what have you found to be the conditions that bring you energy when it comes to bringing your impact, your mission out to life, and what are conditions that take away from it. I think that like I really enjoyed that part there. Shermain, you got something to say? I got some more on what you just said, but let's see what you got to say.
Yeah. The extra bit I have is that everything changed for me when I completely owned the loneliness lane, is what I'll call it. When I completely owned that this is going to be my jam,
Mm.
that's what shifted for me
Yeah, I
in
like that.
Toronto.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. There's I think that's why when you first brought it up, I was really drawn to it because I'm like, I feel that I feel like there's a way to play at it. Like I feel like you know what I mean? It's almost um like role playing, cosplaying versus actually owning it. Right.
Yeah.
So a few things got me. One, you saw that I had like this inner response,
Mm-hmm.
when you brought up one person a little bit at a time, right? And
Yep.
my thing was like a lot of people, a whole lot,
Yep.
like, like that was, I was like, I can't do it. I like just one person. So much work. That's literally what I think. I'm like, it's like so much work. Um,
Yep.
but when we translated it into like honoring what gives you energy, honor like allowing yourself to do it in a way that still gets you out into the world, that still has room to help more than that, but honoring what gives you energy, that part my nervous system like really got right, because it goes back even to the outlier portion of this here, where it's like my general things like you got to do what works for you, you
Yep.
know but like you got to do what works for you, one. But the other side of it, and this is the other part that gets me, is like you also don't have to go change the world, right? Or change your world. That's my thing, right? It's not really that's like it's like let's go do something epic, right? And changing your world might be like singing in a barbershop group and like going for top 10. You know what I mean? Like it does not have to be like I realize like I often want to think of myself as a social entrepreneur, but I'm like I'm not like fighting for climate, like fighting against climate change and all this stuff here. Like I'm not. That's not it. Loneliness is my thing. That one I get you. Belonging is my sliver of loneliness
Yes.
that
That's
I
my,
play
yep.
within.
Me
Yep,
too.
yep. There's an element in there where I think that the real freedom and what really feels like is lining up for me is this component of like you got to do you in enough ways to make sure you keep getting the energy to go keep playing the bigger game.
Yep.
And however that, like, whatever it is that allows you to go play that game, do it that way, and then allow technology, let's call it like the larger scheme of things. A book is a technology, it's a way of like, but allow technology to carry that message forward, or continue doing the work beyond you.
Yep.
But you, as a source, like, allow yourself to let the core thing that works for you work for you, and then multiply it through whatever means you want to go through. Let's jam on that a bit, Shermain. How does that feel when I say that to you?
You're exactly right. And I want to add this other bit.
Hmm.
Another thing that changed everything for me was being on a mission that scared me and made me feel there was feeling around it or underneath it. I'm on a mission. I'm saving lives lost to loneliness. And so when I repeat that back to myself of like, hey, I'm saving lives lost to loneliness, like there's so much energy. I become energized when I think about that, when I say it. And so yeah, finding something that brings that energy in for me was critical.
Hmm. Yeah, this is awesome. For those of y'all that are joining right now, I'm jamming right now with Shermain Melton. Shermain is one of like he's a good friend, a great thinker, and an incredible movement leader. And Shemane's like, he has a mission to end loneliness for 9 billion people. And right now we're getting into. I've known Shemaine for a long enough time to see, like, okay, like, you've been about this, but now you're like about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I am, as someone who's been in the outlier, been the champion for outlier for the last 7-8 years. I've recognized that there's a level of doing this work that can be on the surface, that can be passable, that can be acceptable, that can be palatable, that can be what I think digestible, right? Especially in the standpoint of making the impact and bringing in revenue, like doing it for the business. Like, I'm like, if I was getting employed somewhere and I could just do without having to try and like make sure there was um, uh, a way for the inputs and outputs to come in, basically to replenish myself through the process, would be something different. And so I'm finding myself, we didn't come in with any topic at all.
Right.
We just knew we were going to jam, and that when
Yep.
we spend time together, good things happen. And
Yep.
so we get to do this, and now others get a benefit. But I'm diving in with my curiosities around this. And this is not just a conversation between me and Shermain. We're having a one-on-one conversation, but it's actually a many-to-many conversation. So if y'all have questions for Shermain, if you have things that you agree with, you don't agree with, that you're challenged with, like, put it into the chat, put it into the comments. Like, we get to see all of them. So put it in here, and we'll keep playing. But welcome. And if you've been watching this year, use that portion where I just gave you the recap to take that as an insight moment for yourself. Share, like, think about, like, okay, this is what's been happening in this conversation. While I'm describing what's happening to you from my perspective, what I've learned over the years of doing this, Shemaine, is that everyone who watches this, no matter when they watch it, are going to get what they want to get from this, or what they are actually here to get from it, regardless of the conversation you and I are having, or what I think they're getting out of it.
Yep.
So that's been so freeing over the years to like be like, people come to like, you're gonna learn this, and that. I'm like, I don't know what you're gonna learn, because you're
Yep.
gonna learn what you came here for,
Yep.
even if you
Yep.
didn't know what that was.
Yep.
Just seeing us say, hey, by the way, we're gonna come jam, might free something for you.
Yeah.
So I'll come to you, Shermain. What's flowing through you? Let me ask you. Let's just check
Yeah.
in with you. Like, what's been one of your bigger insights as throughout this conversation? Because I know
Yeah.
that you're like me. Like, we have good return on investment.
Yep.
So tell me one of your insights
Yeah.
you've had
One of
so
my
far.
biggest insights so far from this conversation is something you just said. You used the words about it, about it. So what shifted for me is before I was about loneliness, but now I'm about it, about it. And that was the shift.
Mm, mm. I feel it. Like it's cool. It, like, you wear it well. You know,
Thank you. Thank you.
and I think it's something that, like, that's important to play with. I'm excited that it's out in the world in this way, because there's okay. So as I'm saying, I'm excited about it, I'm also listening to myself and asking myself, okay, so where am I scared about it, or like, not scared for you, but scared for me? Like, all right, so Niiamah, if you're so excited, then like, what's keeping you from? And Shameen, I want to I'm gonna actually ask you. I'm gonna ask you to have like a Melton minute or a Melton, like, like that
Yep.
thing you do,
Yep. The
right?
Melton method. Yep. Here it comes.
The Melton method. All right, I'm gonna request it, right? So y'all, if
Okay.
you haven't seen somebody do this here, like, and look, if it's not coming to you, I know you will tell me it's not coming to you. But like, Shermain has this way of like taking in things and it's like, this is what you need to hear. You
Yeah.
know.
So here we go. Niiamah. So here's what you need to hear. The first thing, and actually is the thing I just said, you are about Outliers Edge, but you're not yet about it. What comes up as you hear that?
That one, I'm like bowdy about it. Like, let me play in.
Okay.
I think it might have been the first framing. Like, it's like, is it that I'm about Outliers Edge or am I about Outliers?
Oh,
Period.
thank you.
Right?
Outliers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Outliers.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is this is what I want. I want to be bowdy about it. Right. Like, and look, it's like it's almost, it feels odd to say that, where it's not like every part of my brand is Outliers Edge. I've been doing like it is. I'm not, also trying to like, get crypto on the side or invest in real estate, or, even like have enough, like, this is every brand, every conversation, it's all related to the Outliers. But where it feels like the not about it part of it that's coming in is basically this like existential question. I want to get your thoughts on this. The existential question for me becomes, I talk about leading a movement, but then I show up in like leading a business. I talk about leading, like there's a distinction to me between uh group and community and ecosystem and movement. Like, all of them to many other people might be the same exact thing, but I think that there's something to build a community, and there's another completely different thing to build a movement out of it, right? And I know that I'm building a movement. I know, like going back to the energy side of things, like whenever I think about community, a business, all that stuff there, my energy shrinks, my options become lower. It becomes very much like in order to energy. Well, I'm
Yeah.
just doing this in order to finally get to this.
Yeah.
And like, part of why I think I'm so energized by the conversation with you is I feel like you got rid of a lot of in order tos, you got rid of everything that wasn't just the real thing. And
Yep.
so the thing that's coming for me is like, and maybe this fits a little bit less in like loneliness for 9 billion, and sits more in like the loneliness of the African American leader side of things, like because it's in that space there where I ask myself, like, I'm clearly in love with Outliers. I'm not gonna, like, I get bored by average people. I get bored by average approaches. I'm just like, got it, done it. We've done it already. You got it. If you want the incremental things to go follow someone else's program. They'll give you their system, so on and so forth. But if you're here to build it the Shermain Melton way, if you're here to build it the, insert your name here way, like I'm your person. Like, let's go do it. And it's not just because that's going to work for me revenue wise or business wise, but it's because, like, I truly believe that this world cannot change from people who are playing the same way as everyone else. It's only the people who are outliers or feel outcasts or outsiders that, like, if they step into their leadership, they will naturally move things. And so I feel that, like, that's what I'm about. But then I might get into, like, let's talk systems. Here goes the funnel of how to get people through. Like it gets, but I know that when I didn't have that component, when I didn't have the business part, when I wasn't able to sustainably fund my impact, I almost had to quit this whole thing. It always sits there. It's like, hey, look, if you don't actually have a way to fund yourself and your impact now and in the future, you will be able to make some impact. You'll get people to watch a live stream. You'll come on here. You'll have like some good conversations. You'll do the thing. But like, the real game is like chapters across the world where people are like leading things that I don't even know, like I'm not even thinking of. They're like, we're creating an outlier hackathon. We have like it's all in on this. And so I'm in this juicy space, or crunchy space is really what it feels like, of
Yeah.
like, I feel like I'm there, but I still think I might be playing a pretty average game. Oh,
Yeah.
that did not feel good to say. But that, that is like an
I
out,
agree.
like
How about that?
Outliers Edge played. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, go ahead,
I
Shermain, since you
agree.
agree.
You're playing an average game. Here's what I hear is that what really energizes you is that second bit you said. It's like, what if there were different chapters of Outliers Edge here and there was a Outliers hackathon and this, and like, When you spoke about that, you lit up.
Yeah.
Like, what if that was the business?
I can't like. There's so
I can't.
what's happening? Yeah, I'm checking in. I'm checking in. I'm trying to
Okay.
find. I'm trying to find what's happening. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I'm committed to letting my insides come on the outside, because this is it. This is where the rub is. It's not. It's. I know. I think I need to take a breath. So I am. I love the possibility of it all. All right. I love the what if elements of it. And I like, to me, it's less. I think this is why movement fits so well for me, because like I don't need to control this thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't need, like, I'm not here to control outliers and say you need to be X, Y, Z. So the gap for me. Hmm, okay, this is what's coming up. I'm going to try and find all the stuff that feels like icky to say, and say it out loud. Right.
Right.
So the first thing that comes out, the one that's maybe shouting the loudest out of this is like, cool, Niiamah. Like, chapters around the world, like people doing all this stuff. That's great. But if you haven't even figured out how to master the live stream in your own portion of the business, like so on and so forth, how are you going to help other people be able to do that? How are you going to help them with the resources to go and do that? How can you, if this thing that you're creating, you have like isn't even underneath your purview, underneath your domain so strongly, then like, are you fooling yourself? And on the same side, and like not to be like, self chastising, but are you jeopardizing what you stand for by not just getting your ducks in a row first, so that then can then give you the resources and resourcefulness and connections and all that to to take it wherever it needs to be. Put another way, Shermain, it's like it might be in year 5 years from now, like I might be able to go and have, 50 different chapters pop up, right? But if I tried right now, I might get one or two, but never really get out of like the grind enough to get to 5 years from now, have that actually take off. So play with me a little bit there. Tell me what you're hearing.
Here's what I hear.
Let's go.
You're talking about 5 years from now. We're here. We're right now. So I want to bring that in first. You're bringing up 5 years from now. That's the first thing. The second thing I have is I wrote down, you haven't owned the movement yet. You said I'm this movement. You're speaking about the movement, but I don't see that you've owned it yet.
That's true. There's truth in that. Like, so I kind of oscillate in it. Um, so there was times where I would have I now it says join the community, but it was like, hey, look, like join the movement, like I would have this on the screen. I'd be like, hey, come out here, and or I would have it's not on this view, but if you read the bottom of it, it's like, oh no, actually I took it off for some reason. So I have scrolling every time I come here, like, come be the movement. This is lead the change you were born for, and the engine that arrives it, right? And so I think that like there's a lot of me that has the movement is coming alive. I think that there is an element of this that says, what does the movement really stand for? What does it really stand for? And am I getting to the core of what it stands for, or am I playing around the edges? That's what this whole thing keeps going by to. And it goes to,
Yep.
like, I'll ask people, I'm like, is this a B2C business where I'm going out to like individuals on like a personal development side of thing and being like, hey, you are like, let's help you be all of who you are unapologetically. And like that to me does not need to do anything with business. It could, but it doesn't need to. It could be for like, any person out there in the world, and just being like, are you showing up as you fully or not? Right. That to me is like one portion, one side of this thing, like the outlier side of it. And the other side of it, that's like, okay, let's go build something. Let's go shape our world together. Let's go create something here and show the like what happens when outliers show up in the world. You get what I'm saying?
I
And
do.
so like I think that is like like in the ownership of it, like that's where things feel a bit off.
Yeah.
And in the absence of that clarity, I'm doing a lot of infrastructure building.
Yeah.
I'm learning different skills, so on and so forth. But it isn't. We haven't actually hit the the real yet.
Yeah.
We'll come see when I say that because I like this is me trying to unpack right now, man.
Yeah, you're spot on. So you said oscillating. That's the word you used. Yep. Going from here to here to here. You're back and forth. You're not solid yet. You're not, I'm going to use the words, you're not on mission yet. You don't yet have a mission that moves you, that is an anchor, or that you can come back to. You can completely anchor yourself on as needed, is what I see. What
Well,
comes up
let me
for
ask
you?
you. Yeah, like there's a part of that lands but doesn't. Like it's like 'cause I'm not missionless, right? Like this is variations on. It's almost like 80-20ing. You
Okay.
know, what's the 20% that's going to lead to 80% of the results into it? Like
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be efficient with it, but like let me play this out a little bit for you, like and see how you're navigating it, right? So you loneliness for 9 billion people, right? And then you're also talking about the loneliness of the African American leader, right? Let's talk, like I think that's where the distinction is, because I wouldn't say that if you're like you're pursuing the loneliness of the African American leader, I'm like, oh, you're not tethered to your mission of loneliness of 9 billion people, but there aren't 9 billion African American leaders, right? And so like the oscillation for me goes to who, okay, should like I can speak to the African American leader. I'm using you as an example, right?
Yep.
I could
Yep.
do here, right? And that's going to go help with loneliness and this element here.
Yep.
But there are other macro elements of loneliness that like of just
Yep.
like connection and
Yep.
being comfortable being who you are
Yep.
and being able to get outside of the bubble that you're in and know that like
Yep.
just the people that like there's that, and
Yep.
that's going to be like the thing that 9 billion people could take on, you know. And that's also a lot of work, and like, and there's going to be African American leaders who
Yep.
actually would benefit from that too. So
Yep.
I get that's the real dichotomy. It's like I'm not backing away from what I know I'm about, right? I mean, I have the language to say it succinctly over and
Yep.
over again, but
Yep.
like there's no, it would be silly of me to say that I'm not on mission, because I am. It's
Great.
just like I'm looking at this, I'm like, am I fooling myself by saying, I go back to my word, entrepreneurs who are outliers and helping you build a business that's an outlier business? Is that what I'm really here for? Am I really here for my version of the 9 billion people, or like, let's say 3% of the people who are outliers out there? Maybe
Yep.
it's like, a half a million people, sorry, not a half a million,
Yeah. Go ahead.
500 billion, half a billion people
Yeah.
who are outliers out there, where it's like, I'm here to help make sure that you shine in whatever it is that you do, you know? Like that, I think that rub kind of comes in, because this side, I can be a business coach with an outlier like lens on it. And this one here to me is like, well, this is just the movement. There's nothing else about it, like it's more clear. Right. But like, all right, thank you, by the way. This is my rub. This is
Yeah.
my rub, because conventional wisdom is pick a niche, go in, like maximize what you can in that niche, get known there, and then expand, and then expand, and then expand, and then expand, and so on and so forth. And the part of me is like, is that my path? Like, is that my path? Because like I can speak now to what it takes to like show up in the world as you and lead in that place, and like, and I feel in integrity with it, so on and so forth. On the business side, I'm still with you, but like I want to have more going on for me in business before I go up to like, I don't know. I don't think on the enterprise wide solutions every single time. I'm still with the individual leader, for example, right? And I don't want to get in a consultant. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I've done it. I don't want to do that. So that's where the rub is. What do you like? If you can, firstly, if you're hearing anything in my problem, it's actually really helpful to hear it played back. But if there's
Mhm.
anything you want to play out with me, or challenge me on, like I'm down for it.
Yeah. What I'm hearing is, well, you've got more than a few options. The thing I have for you is, which here's how I make decisions. Which
Mhm.
one of these is more courageous and bold? Which one of these makes me feel more uneasy? What makes me feel nervous and a little bit scared? Like which one of which one of these has those elements? Which one, which one's brand new? So my criteria, I call them oh shit moments. And so an oh shit moment is the feeling of nervous, scared, and excited. So that has to be present, those feelings. The second has to be something that's brand new to me. And the third is it has to be something that I feel a sense of conviction toward. I feel it's really, really important to me. And so that's that's what I use to when I need to choose between some different options on which way I want to go. That's how I determine which way to go.
How did it end up with you working with focusing on African American? Like the book this time, right? The book that you're writing right now, right? It is for the African American leader, correct?
Yeah, African American, accomplished African American men.
Okay, accomplished African American men.
Yes,
that's where it is. How did your decision criteria lead you to that out of all the different ways you could do it? Because I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, now make it real for me, right? And outliers, for any of you that are watching this year, like put in your thoughts, like share some things that are showing up for you. Shermain, hit me.
Yeah,
I'll play it out for me.
Here's how I landed on that. Number one, it's me. And number two, I felt a huge sense of imposter syndrome. So I grew up here in Phoenix. Phoenix has 5% Black population here. And so I grew up always feeling like I was the only one in the room. I felt like I sometimes was not Black enough and sometimes not white enough. And I felt a huge sense of imposter syndrome writing this book of like, who am I to write a book for accomplished African-American men who know the struggles of leading in a white world? Like my background is different than most others. And so the reason I landed on this is from what I just said, the criteria of, man, I feel really nervous, really scared, and really excited to do this. Number two, it's something brand new and it's something that's really meaningful to me. And so that met my criteria. Yeah, that's it.
All right. I like this. I appreciate it. It's been very helpful just to like unpack this and play it out. Like honestly, I can't always go to people and just play this thing through. Right. I think there's a lot of similarities in like what we've chosen to work on. We've chosen different paths to get there. But I really do see like it isn't just like we're here to like raise a global consciousness kind of thing. Like we're in a smaller subset of that bigger bubble. You know what I mean? And so I've always like I really appreciate you. I appreciate the way you challenge my thinking on this. Like there are so I'm mindful of the time. I'm still good to jam, but I want to like make sure I check in.
I'm good. I'm clear for the next hour. So we're just
okay.
I'm helping you get your minutes.
We might be jamming. Yeah. Getting these minutes. We getting these minutes. All right. But I'll say this. I'll share, if you don't mind, I'll share a couple different insights that I have here, and then I'll see then we'll see where we want to play with the jam. All right. And outliers, like join us in here. Like if you're like you might be chilling, having this on in the background, like later on, like you want to come back and let us know what you got, like let us know. So a few different insights. I'm going to talk about the conversation, and then I'm going to talk about my experience in the conversation, right? But first, my like the first insight. First, we'll start with the insights of the conversation itself. So some of the things that are coming from me is really just like noticing like my conviction where I'm like, no, I've been on mission. Like I'm not like you ain't gonna take that, right? But I also think that also helps me to not to like get out of my head around. I'm like, but am I on mission? You know, I'm on the 80. I'm on the 20% of the 80% of the all that. Like, so I'm seeing that level of like, all right, cool. Like, you don't need to put any cycles towards that. All right. The next thing here being when you talked about like one-on-one and I had like that visceral response, right? And then like within like 5 minutes, I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm talking to you one-on-one and I'm doing the same exact thing. And like, you know, so I'm like, wait a minute, as much as I believe it, like the reality is like this works for me. It's really about how visible am I allowed how visible am I allowing myself to be, how, like, so on and so forth, right? So I got that. One thing that I didn't say that I actually think also, like I am finding works for me, is to frame things more in the
Mm.
game versus a goal, right? The goal of, like, like when I get into goal mode, that's what
Mm.
shrinks my energy. That's what's like, oh, there's a way to do it. I need to have the plan. I need to take the end state, reverse engineer it. I need to know before I go. I almost describe it like driving. It's like nowadays there's Google Maps, but like sometimes I'll play this game and I'm like, okay, I'm at home. I know I want to go to destination X, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go down the street, make a right. Like I'm writing my own Google Maps, and I need to know the exact thing. It's almost
Yep.
like MapQuest.
Yep.
Like you like I
Yeah.
have to print out the
Yep.
directions before I go, and then if anything happens, that's off. Like I'd rather sit in traffic for 30 extra minutes because I know this this thing here, rather than taking the detour. Because the moment I get on the detour, my
Yep.
map is no
Useless.
longer
Yep.
makes sense. Yeah, map is useless at that point. I think that's it. Like my map question or my Google mapping, right? And I feel like right now, like when in talking to you right here, I'm like, oh, I think a part of me is still trying to like map quest this. It's like, okay, let me make sure I have all these things like set aside properly to make sure that I am like fully good to go so that when I leave this house, I can go down
Yeah.
this path. And there's just a level of freedom I felt actually from having this conversation where I'm like, okay, I think that I'm looking for security and certainty of like, am I choosing the right path? Rather than allowing myself to be like the GPS is my like the GPS is above me. I have my compass, my internal heart compass, my soul compass. I know which direction is north overall. And like if I need to recalculate based on where I'm at, I will recalculate there. And then the last thing that's coming to me here based on just the actual conversation we had is it takes me back to the rise of Superman by
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Kotler, where it goes to like the way to get into flow states are where things really get done. And most high achievers, I would consider myself a high achiever, or high as yeah. Let me not sugarcoat it. I consider myself a high achiever. Um, Most high achievers uh, will often look to see how do we triple, double, triple, like 10, like we'll go for really big things. And in his book, he was just even saying like 30%. I'm like, 30% seems like, yeah, why 30 when we can go like, and the real for me has been whenever I do that, I get into deep concentration, thinking about a whole lot of things. The reason we're having this conversation is because I
Mm.
didn't do that. I was like, the 10,000 minutes is like, oh, I just got to go
Yep.
fill up this time. And my goal with the 10,000 minutes is to make each minute 1% better
Mm.
than the other. So that's that. It's not each call. I don't want to wait that long for it, but minute after minute after minute after minute, I want to be 1% better than the minute before. And so I'm taking that in and just realizing that like when I free myself from having to map quest this whole thing out, and instead I allow myself to Google map it and be like, am I 1% closer? Am I here now? Okay, now let's recalculate. But don't worry, you can still keep driving. You don't have to pull over to the side of the road. You can still keep driving. Be like, oh, you made a left turn here. Great. Now that you made a left turn, this is where we go. You know, that feels really real for me. I just realized the amount of pressure I've been putting on myself to get it right and not waste
Mhm.
my time and know if I'm doing this mission, this side am I on the left side of the mission or am I on the right side of the mission? And but then overall, I'm like, you're
Yep.
on mission, dude.
Yep.
Keep going. Keep going. All right. Those are my insights around the conversation, like the conversation we actually were talking about. I'd like to get your insights from the conversation. If you have anything for
Yeah.
yourself, right? Share your insights for yourself. And then we'll talk about the experience of being in this
Yeah,
space
that's
for a little bit.
great. So one insight that I have for myself is a reminder to stay on mission. To stay on mission. I'm on a mission to end loneliness for 9 billion people. It's impossible. But I'm on that mission to start with one person, to help them feel a sense of belonging and to feel seen and heard and like they matter and like they can be themselves at work and at home and all the different spaces and places. Um, so my insight it's around staying on mission. So that's one insight. Another insight actually came up as you were just speaking about freeing yourself from the map quest of things. And I thought to myself of like, oh, what are the things that I'm doing? Before I started my podcast, I thought like, oh, I've got to have this. I've got to have a microphone. I've got to have a camera. I've got to have all the things first before I start. And another coach said, Shermain, haven't been talking about this podcast for months now. What if you don't you have everything you need? And so there was this where I was that in that moment, that was my map quest. I had this map. It needed to look a certain way before I started. And so the insight for me was a reminder around, Shermain, start. You can start without the map quest. Like go, and you'll figure it out. Or you can bring someone on to handle that part. So those have been at least two of my insights from today.
I appreciate you, man. This is magical here. And Outliers, like, this is how we play the game. We are constantly sharing our insights. Like this is one of the hidden secrets that I found, and it's not so hidden, but it's hidden secrets to compounding your growth, playing up at different levels. It's just that element of being able to reflect back and choose to see what's happening from a different perspective. And so you'll notice in every single conversation I have multiple times where I'm just asking, like, reflect back. What are you hearing? What's your insight from this? So on and so forth. Because it's once that's been put into space, we now get a chance to it's like compounded interest. You can compound it, like we compound it that much faster every time we go and we say, this is the return we're taking from it. Now that's a part of our assets right now, and then it becomes liquid and we get a chance to build upon it. So that feels really good. And, like, we're always curious about your insights. Keep playing this year. Shermain, you've talked about one person at a time. I'm going to use this opportunity to invite you all to join us in the one person, one conversation at a time initiative. So go ahead. Like this is where Niiamah has all the different ideas, right? Sorry, like, I can contradict myself, but you'll see this happen on when I was doing the podcast just as a pre-recorded podcast. Now people are coming onto the podcast and we're having live. It's all happening live. Mm-hmm. And I would ask people, and I'm going to ask it now, to join us in what we call the one person, one conversation at a time initiative. And that's, you can go and share this out, make sure people know that this conversation is taking place. But I think that, like, what's the real important thing is for the right person to get this message right now. Right. And my thoughts are, if you can think of one person in your world who would really benefit from the conversation that Shermain and I are having, this conversation that I'd say the conversation Shermain and I are leading, I think that's probably the better way of looking at it than the fact that we're just having it. So if you know anyone who would benefit from the conversation we are leading, whether it's happening right now in real time or they would benefit from watching it afterwards, my ask is that you share this conversation with them with deep intention. Let them know, hey, earlier today I was watching Niiamah and Shermain, or right now Niiamah and Shermain are on, and I thought of you, and here's why. And then just send them that message, send them the link, and we'll continue and grow from there. There's something in my mind that just goes like, this is not about getting viral. It's about making sure that each person has access to this one conversation at it. As I say it, I feel like, sorry, because I remember where we were at the beginning of this conversation. But, like, making sure that, like, but it honestly works in that way, similar to how you're saying in the book. It's like the right next person gets this. And to me, Shermain, my hope against hopes, the thing is that 10 years from now, this conversation is still relevant. Not because it reached thousands of people one time and they all heard it and then walked away from it, but because 1,000 people over the last 10 years got this message at the exact right time for them, when they were trying to figure something out, when they were thinking about their loneliness or their movement or whatever it is. Like, to me, that moves the needle versus just, I don't know, the metrics on the vanity metrics on things. So one person, one conversation at a time. Think about someone in your world. And if you're that person who received this, whether it's now or in the future, one, say thank you to the person who sent it to you, and then help us pay this forward. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes.
Can I add something to your audience?
Please.
When you pass this along to someone else, tell them where, because this is going to be this might be a large video, possibly.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey, at 2 minutes in, this is where you need to listen, or whatever, 12 minutes in, so that they can, they know exactly where to go. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Shermain. Thank you.
Anytime.
So now let's play here. Hey, we'll go in a couple of different directions, but I want to play a little bit now.
It cut out for a second, but we're back.
I'm going to do some things to give us a chance to be more fully in here. It must have been a really the connection to go. Here we go. It must have been a really powerful moment for the connection to go. That's all I can think of. But the where I want to go now is to just ask you about your experience actually being on the live stream itself. I'm curious about this here because I'm bringing on people to have conversations like this. I'm sending out messages, and the 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 big thing I'm trying to do is send out like an actual engine. So like there's constantly conversations going on. Like I wake up in the morning, people are on the calendar. I come into this room and we just talk for about 8 hours straight. Then I go to bed. Like that's the only way I can actually see the 10,000 minutes happening, while still building and doing all the things that I do. So I'm curious about your experience. Yeah, just anything you want to share about like being on here live. Like this is just like between me and you, either feedback you have and your experience for yourself, some things you're learning, things you're playing with. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, let's see. So my feedback so far on the live stream, it's been great. It's simply a convert. I'm talking to my colleague Niiamah, like this is a jam with Niiamah. So it's amazing. It's great. Yeah, that's what I have. Is there? I feel like,
No,
oh man,
no.
that's not enough.
You know me, I'm intense.
Uh-huh.
I'll share some things. No, there's nothing really there. It's more like I want to just keep checking in. I want to keep like
Okay.
again 1% every minute, right? So now we've had the conversation on the macro area, and now I'm like, okay, well this is honestly where I'm going to be putting my time and my craft in. What I realize is that like conversations is at the core of this movement. And so now I'm like, I'm just gonna keep recording. I'm gonna like my thoughts are, even if I have like a one sentence idea, rather than waiting in it, putting it into like an Evernote or like a Google Doc, I'm gonna come on live, I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna get off because I have a system that's gonna be able to take all my videos, every single word I say, and then turn that into a transcript, and then we'll go and repurpose that out into the world and so on and so forth. I can come back and elaborate on later. So
Love it.
some of the things that because of that I'm trying to like really get comfortable with the live streams.
Mhm.
Some of the things that has been playing for me as it's gone on has just been just like experimenting with like just the different layouts, how that feels. It's actually felt pretty dynamic to me. It's like it just makes it more interesting on my end. I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'm just clicking a button and
Yep.
we're changing it up a little bit.
I love this
uh,
view. Yep.
yeah. This feels good, right? This
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah.
So there's elements of playing with that, and then also like we had the streamer on, we took that off for a little bit. So there's some of those technical things. But there was one other place I was playing out. It's helpful for me to have the experience of like, oh, we can do whatever we want in this space. I think that there is it's really challenging here because I'm actually discovering what it takes to be an outlier again. Like
Mhm.
this is it. This is so my thing has been, how do I go meta with this? How do I go and get us to a place where the way that we do this work is the outlier work? You know, how where can I make there be zero, like as much overlap as possible, so that it's almost like I see this wonderful mountain behind you. It's like, all right, how do I get people to climb a mountain while talking about the metaphorical mountain that they're trying to climb? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so I'm like, all these things are kind of coming together for me. I'm playing it out. And yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm learning in real, even just like what do I do when my connections I'm like, oh, I should probably turn off this, and that, so that my
Yeah.
connection doesn't get lost next time.
Yeah.
XYZ.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
I love that you spoke about, oh, how do I get people to climb a mountain? A thought came into my mind of like, oh, actually, I don't, I'm not focused on helping people climb a mountain. I'm only focused on them helping them take one step ahead, one
Yeah.
step forward. You're looking at the mountain.
Yeah.
I'm focused on the step, the one
Yeah.
step. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that there, and then because I think this is there's a why this is important to me. I think what I like to get into is like, all right, how are we creating our transformation? And part of it feels like the basis of our transformation, like principles, philosophy, whatever it is, right? Where it's like, all right, your thing is one step, one person. Because I heard the other side of what you're saying with the loneliness, right? You're like, I'm just trying to help one person become a little less lonely,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
like, I was like, a little less, like, why can't we just go all the way, right? But like, I'm gonna take you to the top of the mountain. You're like, I just need to help you just take that step. So rather than, I'm not here to like go
Yeah.
back and forth on it, right?
I
Because
got
you actually hit the unlock for me, which is like, what is it that keeps you energized? That to
Yes.
me is what the unlock, like what actually gets you to keep taking steps. Is
Yep.
it the big goal,
Yep.
like, or is it like, okay, just one step next? And I think I'm getting that from you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, Lead me then to I think I'm gonna go to two places. Actually, let's just make let's drill this down into what's real. Like, you're writing a tiny book. Well, you're writing a
Yep.
book.
Yep.
Like, I know when you say tiny book, I know the context behind it. I know what it means here.
Yep.
You introduced the word tiny book or the phrase tiny book earlier, and I just like I kind of jumped in on it.
Yep.
But let's do you mind if we talk a little bit about like the book and that this process and all that stuff? Because I'm gonna use
Yeah.
your book and mirror it to me with the lives and the things that I'm doing. You good with that?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's
All
perfect.
right,
Where should
cool.
we start by? So the tiny book, what I mean
Yeah.
by that is it's a book that's 70 to 80 pages, no more than 80 pages. I want this to be a book that people can read in a number of hours on a plane ride, across the country or whatever. Like they'll be able to read this book. Partially because I have lots of books that are really large that I've not gone through yet. And so I want to make this something people can actually finish. That's one of the reasons. Mhm.
Yeah, like there's something exciting in that for me as well, because I used to be a big like book reader, and nowadays I'm like, all right, I need to go take action, right? But there's something that I've also found, like, I have a hard time going back to some of the older books that I used to go to, because there were so many examples
Yeah.
that like it felt like that was like the core premise was right there on the title. Like it was, the title was so good, and then afterwards it was just like, here goes, like, 10,000 examples of as to why this
Mm.
works. And I'm like, oh, I listen to everything. I'm an audio person, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm like, I don't have 7 hours for
Yeah.
you to keep telling me this thing and to retrofit your process to like Apple or Google, right? They're like, look at this successful company, and then they like retrofit their things on top of
Mhm.
it. I'm like,
Mhm.
I actually want to know what you're doing with your actual clients.
Mhm.
Help me see how this is played out for I wouldn't say as regular people, but it's not that. But it's like, all right, outside of like the ideal conditions, can this still work?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Y-
yeah.
What I hear you saying is show me how it works. Show me that it works and how it works and on real people. And so I have real data, and then I can go out and be inspired and go do the thing. That's what
Yeah.
I'm hearing from you.
So I can just go, like, not even be inspired, just so I can just go do the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just so I can go do the thing. So tell me here, like, tell me, so you're writing your book. It's meant to be actionable, read and actionable within a plane ride here, right?
Yeah.
What has been, just tell me a little bit about like the process of actually like getting into the book writing itself, because you're gonna have this whole thing done in the next three weeks. So
Yeah.
here it's about like, it feels like there's like lead time, lead time, lead time, lead time, lead time. Go, done.
Yeah.
Go, done.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us a little
So
bit about
man,
that.
the process, the interesting thing is I've co-written a book, and this is nothing like that. When I co-wrote the book, I added my chapter, and so it was this one feels a lot different. I think partially because this is mine. It's only my name on the cover. And so you asked about the process of writing. I started with the chapter titles. And I was thinking, like, well, what are the things that I struggle with, or the fears or the thoughts that I have? Like, one of my chapter titles is the weight of representation. And so this is about the weight that us as Black men carry, accomplished Black men carry, that we want to represent our culture well. We know that a mistake on our end could set people behind us back, and we want to make sure we represent our culture well. Another chapter title is Not Black Enough, Not White Enough. This is from my life of like going into these spaces and places of professionalism and university, lots of spaces where I felt like I was not black enough or white enough. My black friends saw me as bougie or as a certain way, and then I didn't fit in with the white folks as well. So starting with the chapter titles, those are the thinking, the struggles that us as accomplished black men run into.
All right, so
That's the
now
first thing.
let's slow things down a little bit on this if you're good with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something really magical about this. So outliers, one of the things I want you to pick up here is that I will say for myself as an accomplished African American man, yo, you're speaking, you speak to it. Like I get it. I and not only do I get it, I get that you get it because it's right there in the title, right? Or right there in the chapter title. So
Mhm.
my outliers, I guess the thing I want to point out is like I want to point to is like in my opinion, like deciding to quote unquote go there,
Yeah.
you know, deciding to quote unquote go there. And so tell us like share that because I think that this also speaks on my end where we were talking about being about it, you
Yeah.
know, it's like
Yeah.
okay,
This is it.
like
Yep.
you're getting into the deeper parts of what it's like to experience life as it, and you've put words behind like you know the weight of representation.
Yep.
I totally get that. Like I'm
Yeah.
still a token in a lot of
Yeah.
different places I'm in, and I'm like yeah. So tell me a little bit about actually choosing to go there, quote unquote, is the way I think I'll look
Yeah.
at this rather than like the the names of themselves.
Yeah. Goes back to something I said before. I was telling you about the oh shit moments. Do I feel
Mhm.
nervous, excited, and a bit scared to do this? Do I is this number two? Is this really important to me? And is this brand new? And so this fits that. This fits that. And there was my goal for this book is I want to feel an immense sense of imposter syndrome when I publish this. I want to feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I said that. I can't believe I wrote that. Like I want, I know that on the other side of that is growth, is expansion, is freedom, is there's everything I want on the other side of that. And so with this book, my goal is to make sure that I feel like an imposter when I'm done, when it's published and out into the world. Um, so there's that. Um, why did I decide to
And the
go
posture
there?
and what?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me all right?
I got you. Yep, I can hear
Yeah.
you.
All right. So an imposter and what? Like help me see like what's your flavor of
Yeah.
accomplished African American male or like an imposter in what way? Like what's your that you're looking for?
Oh, that's a great question. I never thought about that. I wanted to feel, oh yeah, I'd say actually all the above. Like because I already feel a sense of I'm not good enough. I'm already feeling a sense of I'm not black enough, if we're getting real, of I'm not black enough. Growing up here in Phoenix, where there's
Mm.
5% blacks, and I am I'm one of the few that have, I'm gonna use the words made it. I didn't fall into drugs. I didn't fall into gangs. I didn't fall into any of those things. And so I feel writing this book, I feel an immense, like I'm an imposter. Like, who am I to talk about the black experience when I had a different experience than most, and I made it out of that, and others didn't. Um, so so to answer your question around like what does an imposter mean? Like, what does that actually mean? I want to feel. I want to have this feeling at least a bit around like that as a black man that I have no uh that there's like why did I say that? Like I want to feel ooh, this is hard to put into words here, Niiamah. Um I want to feel an imposter as a yes, as an accomplished African American man. I want to feel like they're like that um I want to feel like I'm not good enough to write the book that I just wrote. Um but I want to feel the power and I want to feel the strength and I want to feel proud of doing it. So does that make sense? Like I want like I want both of those.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me. Let's keep unpacking. Let's keep playing with this because this is like this is real. Are you good? Are you good to keep to go
Yeah.
further with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
So what I'm listening to as you're talking here come down to like three words. Like it's the really I feel like there's an imposter syndrome where like the two elements are, okay, as an African American, like can I actually speak to the African American experience, right?
Right.
That's what really feels like it's really showing up.
Yeah.
It
Fair.
doesn't really feel like you're like, am I accomplished enough to do this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't
You're right.
feel you like asking that question.
Yep.
It's just like you're like, am I black enough to do this? Like,
Yep.
do I actually represent here? Like
Yep.
there's the weight of responsibility of representation, but then it's also like it's like the other side of that. What's the other
Yeah.
side? What would you say is like the opposite side of it? Because it's like two sides of the same coin, but I feel like you're on the
Mm,
other side of that coin.
that is a good question. What is on the other side? Can you restate that question for me?
Yeah. Like there's you have a chapter that's called the weight of representation,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Right now, I almost feel you in the space of like um like being in a space of like, who am I to represent? It's like, and
Yep.
that feels different than the way you describe the weight of representation, where it's like, okay, well, everyone's eyes are on me. Let me not mess it up
Mhm.
for anyone, right? This is
Mhm.
like, how did I get elected? Like your representation.
Yeah.
Am I even your representation? Am I just taking this on? Like it feels like that's where that's the space that you're playing in right now. Does that
Yeah.
one,
Yeah,
does that
that's a
resonate
good.
when I say it out loud?
Yeah, that's I would say that's accurate. Hmm. Let me stop here. Let me feel
Yeah.
into it. I think the feelings that are coming in is definitely hit it. You definitely hit it when you were speaking about sort of the African American experience. Like, am I black enough? Like, I think that's the biggest. You hit it when you said that. Like, am I black enough to write this book about about being a African American leader? Like am I yeah, so that's spot on. You were spot on there. And I think my mind is really stuck there as like, oh man, Niiamah, yes, like that's the thing. And it's hard for it to talk about representation or any of the other things because it's it's like, yeah, like that's the fear, the imposter bit. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, I like look, I can hear and I can see it. This one I have a cheat code because I feel the same ways in many different ways. I don't talk much about being an African American male nowadays. I did a lot in 2020 and I don't talk about it as much nowadays. But it's like you're not like, writing about, the age of the dinosaurs. This is you in this. This is kind of, if I'm getting you right here, I'm extrapolating, but like a handbook as to like, here's what has worked for me, right?
Yeah.
This is not what to do, but this is what I have done.
Yeah, they'll have a combination of things of in these moments when you're
Mhm.
feeling like you're not black enough and not white enough. Boom, here's some resources of how you can move forward, how you can thrive in these moments. I'm not sure yet how I'm gonna have it. It'll probably be a combination of some questions that people can answer for themselves, or what's worked for me, or what I've seen work for some of my clients. But it'll probably be a combination of different things. Mhm.
Yeah, what's wild for me is like I'm thinking about people who are watching this and people who are reading this right now, to like just see how real this is, right? Because there's a certain time you were talking, I had you full screen on there. I've not made myself there, but I had you full screen on there, right? And you're just like, yeah, I'm just not sure if I'm black enough. But I in my mind I was smiling because hey, I am where you are. I'm going to say like it's behind me. I've been where you are,
Yeah.
and I am where you are. On the other side of it, there's also this element of like someone coming in and just watching this without having like thinking about like the lived experience of you would be like, what on earth is he talking about? Clearly he's black, right? Am I missing something? Like, is there something that I'm missing here? And so I I really feel you. I really feel that here. And I think that like there's a part of this that actually plays very well. It wasn't until I went to Singapore and I lived in Singapore that I really got a chance. Um, I got really lucky going to Singapore because it was
Mm,
the first time that I was less than like my experience with Singapore was like you can be an African or you can be an American. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? But it wasn't that they were looking at African American.
mm,
Like what really stuck out was I was an American. Now look, there was also
mm.
like I say I'm part of the 3% club. You've been in tech too. You know what it's like to be like 3% of all the people in tech were African American. You
Yeah.
know, and so you say I'm part of the 3% club, and then going to Singapore, I was part of like the 0.3% club. You
Mm.
know, and that was what was wild about that was that it was the first time I had like the first time I actually hung out with black people, like outside of like my family or where I grew up with, and what was wild to me was here we are in Singapore and they're talking about whether or not their black card would scan
Mm.
outside of that environment. And I like it was the first time I found out that I wasn't the only one
Mm.
who like and so actually what's coming to me as I say this is like I wonder who like put in what the criteria of black should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did this come from? Like, you know, because I my parents are from Ghana, you know, so I'm like, all right, well, I'm like I just became black. What is it, 2025, almost 2026? I became black about 6, 7 years ago. You know,
Mm.
beforehand I was African American purely. My parents were like, there's a
Mm.
distinction, you know,
Mm.
they're like, and so there's a part of me that wonders, like, and I don't know if it's for us to unpack here, but like, there's a game that's going on where I'm like, wait, what if we all kind of feel this way, and who doesn't feel this way, and who gets to decide this thing that we're playing into? And I'm curious what your thoughts are on this here. This is just me and you jamming. There's no rhyme or reason behind it otherwise, but
Yeah.
your
What
thoughts.
comes to mind for me, the first thing that came to mind was the entertainment industry and television and music. Those are the things that came to mind around sort of the decision makers and I don't know how much truth that is, but that's the first thing that came to mind for me. Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, but like honestly, same here. Like I'm like, oh, there's a societal view of this, right? And there's like two levels of societal views. I'd be curious for you. Like there's the macro societal, like so what I see in music, like arts, all that stuff, right? Both in their depiction of African Americans and Black people in America, as well as yeah. So there's that, and then there's like actually knowing that like I don't say this often, but like yeah, I tend to thrive more. At least I tend to think I thrive more, especially before I went to Singapore, in like environments where I was the token, where I was the only one, you
Mhm.
know, because I knew how to play that game,
Yeah.
you know, and there was no one else to compare me to,
Yeah.
and
That's a good
no one would like I've never had to be compared up until a certain point because like I was really the only black guy doing this thing.
one.
You
Mhm.
know, like there wasn't really anyone else that was there, so there wasn't really that is like where does he sit? And like and so I'm just unpacking this in real time.
Mhm.
But there's a component of oh wow, for a long time there was no one to compare, so there's no comparison, right? And then there's another level of this here where it's like okay, now I feel like if I ever did get really like if I really went in, it would be very starkly obvious. And this is the part that I think I also get like that came around from my Singapore experience, where it's like, what part of me feels like the word nowadays is a monolith, you know? But
Mhm.
like, what part makes me feel like there's like a collective blackness out there that like that I'm shirking or not doing right, you know?
Mhm.
Versus like and I think that's what I got in Singapore is like when I actually started spending time with people, I'm like, oh no, there's so many different ways to do this, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's coming for you? What's coming for you on this?
What
And it might
came
be
up for me
absolutely different.
when you spoke about the collective blackness,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's like, oh yeah, there's this uh I don't know who created this book, as you said, of like, hey, we got to act this way, we need to sound this way, we need to dress this way. I remember this, they meant it as a compliment, but I think I was at American Express and someone said, wow, Shermain, you're so
Don't
articulate.
say it. It's the
Yeah.
word. It's the word. I heard it as soon as you said they meant it as a compliment. I'm like, he's gonna say articulate. He's
Yep.
gonna say articulate, and you know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what that means. If you're listening to this and you don't know what that means, it is not the Webster's definition. I don't know if people still use Webster's
I
dictionary
do.
nowadays. Okay, all right, cool. There you go. Shout out to Webster. Not sponsored, but yeah, what does it mean to you? I'll share what it means to me when I used to hear that when people say like you're
Yeah.
so articulate. What does it mean to you
To
when you hear
me,
that?
what it means is what they're really saying is, wow, Shermain, we thought all of you Black people sounded this way. We thought you spoke in slang. We thought you all we thought you were, yeah, we thought you spoke slang, but you're articulate. So you're a surprise. Oh, so that's
Yeah.
my
And
definition.
I know I'm with you. I'm with you. Like I hear the slang, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But I think it's like I think for me, it's like, oh, people are surprised when I can put together like a coherent thought. You know, I'm like I'm not dumb. You know what I mean? But it comes out as articulate. You know, but like to me, I'm like, this is called a sentence, y'all. Like like if you're giving me a gold star for stringing together what is it like a subject and an object in a converse like this is not I haven't done anything yet, you know? And so that's where like the articulate part feels really like I to me it's like the bar is held so low,
Yeah.
right? It like and not only is the bar held low, but then when you cross the bar, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you were able to cross that bar? Can I just say, let me give you this compliment. You are a bar crosser. You put together a sentence and it sounded not dumb. Go, you go. You should know that. And we're going to call that articulate, right?
Yep.
That's kind of like how it started to feel
Yep.
over the years to me, where I'm just like, this is not that big of a deal. Like y'all talk too, you know. Like, should I be giving you articulate awards? Like, I'm missing something. But it's definitely something that shows up a lot.
Yeah.
It shows up a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I was interviewing people for the book, and I was actually talking to my brother, and he says, you know, sometimes I have to be careful. He said, when I speak, some people get scared. He said, when I speak up about something, they hold back. I was like, that's interesting. So anyway, it's
Well, like,
another.
well,
Yeah.
so now you're taking me down this path here, right? And so, outliers, as you're watching and listening, like Shermain and I are both jamming. He's writing his book around this, about the what's the name of the book?
The loneliness of the African American leader.
Loneliness of the African American leader. And you're getting a chance right now where Jermaine and I are like we're unpacking our own experiences. We're two African American leaders, right? Accomplished African American males. And I'm saying that, Jermaine, so that like so I can make it harder for you to feel that imposter syndrome. I'm gonna
Thank you. I feel it.
yeah, no, but like here's the thing. I want you to feel that imposter syndrome, but I want to make it like as a champion of you, I'm gonna make it that much harder so you can go that much deeper with what it is that you want to say.
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right, you good with that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're unpacking some things in real time around our experiences and talking through it. I love this because this is I know Shermain to be a man of transformation, you know, of courageous action and transformation. And so like we're having this conversation right now. One, it's helpful for me because I rarely have the conversation. But it also goes to speak to one, knowing your people deep enough, feeling the pain deep enough, articulating it, and being in a place where it's like, now you have me unarticulate, by the way, but but speaking to it in such a way, and then speaking to the things that most people see but they don't understand, right? And so right now, one of the things that comes out is the word of like, oh, you're so articulate. I'm sure that many accomplished African American males have felt that, and this has never stopped in my career. Like it doesn't stop, and it almost feels like, in some ways, it feels like I'm not from the South, but like my interpretation of a bless your heart kind of thing, where it's like you're saying all the right words, but like underneath it is just like not what you think it means at all, you know. um so you were just talking about like your brother said like sometimes he speaks and people get scared, like, so I'm going to lean into this one here pretty hard. So one of my big things is I have a deep voice, right? And like people literally, like not literally, that would be, this is not a Disney movie. People jump out of their skin when I talk at times, right? And it's not because they're scared to say the next thing. Like they're literally just like, oh, whatever it is, right? And that's been a challenging thing where it's like I could be talking about like the other day that happened when I was dropping my kid off from school, and I opened the door to a friend, someone I would call a friend. We've gone to like, kids parties together or whatever. And I was just like, oh, hey. And I said her first name even, and it was just like, she jumped up, she's like, oh, you startled me, so my wife, Nicole, I don't know, I think you've met, but like she's white. Right. And so like we will have some of these conversations, and she's like, oh, that scared me. Right. I'm like, okay, we have to pause real quick because there is a difference in the language to me. Like being startled feels different than being scared, feels different than being surprised, because again, I was just asking, like, I just walked in the room, or I just said, like, there's these things here that people don't recognize are at play. And Shermain, you've known me long enough to know that, like, I used to smile. I smile, but like, I used to smile like as a default because that was my way of telling the world that I was one of the safe ones. Right? It's like I don't know what you know about Black people, but like, if you see me even from across the street as I'm dancing and jollying and all this other things here, like I can Carlton it, for a fresh print. Like I can show you how safe I am, from so far away through the mask of joy, you know. And I think that there's something I feel that, and I'm thinking about the African American leader who at least for me, like that walks into the room with me. Like when I want to speak up, it's like, how do I go about doing this in a way that doesn't like freak other people out? It's part of the reason I became a coach, man. Like there's a lot of different ones, but part of it is I'm like, man, either I have to learn how to turn myself down, or I can go out there and help people like bring up their own nervous system, help them be like feel more comfortable in their skin so that they're not afraid of me. Cause like otherwise I have to go live my entire like it actually feels easier to go work and try and bring everyone up to a higher level of their own like self-fidelity than it is to like walk around as a 50% volumed version of myself.
Yeah.
Especially because similar, like I can't tell you what your insights are gonna be. I have no clue what's gonna freak someone out.
Yep.
I have no clue. So I'm just
Yep.
like, how do we just like help them just be stronger overall? Because their fear puts me at risk. All right, Shermain, I've soapboxed for a bit. What you got? What's coming through for you?
What's coming through for me is so yes to everything you said. Something I wrote down was presence. Is in some spaces and places for us, our mere presence makes people uncomfortable. And so what you said around walking around being at 50% of me, that hits people who shrink down so they don't. One of my clients would say this. He didn't want to scare the white people. He said, I don't want to scare the white people. So he would shrink himself down, and he would basically hide. He'd become a ninja so he didn't scare them. And so those are the thoughts that came in. Something my little brother told me was he's a teacher. He teaches at a school. He's the only male teacher with I think something like 150 or like 100 all women. All of his peers are women. So all the other teachers are women. He's the only Black person there and the only Black male there. And so he's telling me a story about how when he has a dissenting opinion with someone, that he has to be careful of how he brings that in, because they immediately can sometimes become offended if he says anything about anything normal. They won't be offended if their peer says it, but coming from him, it hits differently. So
maybe this is why he has to go be so articulate. You can't just say it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're like the fragility now is making me have to go and say this in a certain way,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
you probably met me when I was back as Nemo, right? Did you meet me first as Nemo?
I did.
Right.
Yep.
Part of the reason that I was able to become Niiamah was because of like the program that we've both been a part of. And someone said to me, like, it is not your job to make other people feel safe.
Yep.
And the way that you speak is like you're not being clear, you're not being honest, you're being abstract, because that is all ways of like basically delivering your message in a palatable way.
Yep.
Right. And it's like but we understand you when you're being like upfront, frank, and like you're a big Black beautiful man, like go do that, you know. And it honestly, like, it started with the name change, but it's part of why we can go on here right now and I can talk to you. It's part of what like has made every part of how I do things come to life because I've always been asking myself, in what ways am I trying to make other people safe? In what ways am I like trying to take this concept and instead of just saying it, I am trying to make it approachable, make it digestible.
Yeah.
And like what happens if I just confront people with like, oh, you're just not there yet. You could become there, but you're not there yet. What if I wasn't off in
Mm,
this, you know? And there's a lot of this that's really playing out. I'm just, I'm grateful that we're having this conversation because even as we're talking, it's hitting on a number of different things. Like I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I became a coach. Cause I was just like, I don't want to be dealing with all like this like fragility. I don't like
yeah.
how do we help like shore you up so that like we can go get things done. The outlier thing came afterwards, but it's not,
Mm,
but the real reason I became a coach was because I was like, like people like it's not safe for me if y'all don't aren't like solid, right?
mm,
So that's really coming through. And the
mm,
second thing that's coming through is like as we're having this conversation right now, it goes back to that conversation talking about earlier about do we talk about being an outlier or do I talk about being in business and doing your outlier thing, right? Like this conversation right now, like this is an outlier conversation.
mm,
This is one about like, all right, so what's really at risk? Like what's really at play here? And then how do you create from that place or through that place as well? So you're giving me some things to really be able to play with and sink into myself.
good. What I'm appreciative that you just said was around just saying it, like just say the
Mhm,
thing. And the cool thing is like, oh, that's my book. That's the
mhm,
intention of my book is to just say it. And
mhm.
then I don't know what's going to happen after that, but that is part of the intention of this book is to just say it. Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's really great too because it's like you get a chance to organize your thoughts around what it is that you want to say. It's part of why I come on live, right? So like I said, like we're both doing our things in different ways, but part of
Yes.
why I come on live is because it gives me I don't get to filter. You
Yeah.
know, part of why I don't edit things is because I don't want to filter. Like, and that's because that's my job as an outlier to learn how to be more and more real.
Yeah.
And because I know I'm amongst the best of us at hiding. Like, I'm like, and yeah, I know that I can walk the talk. I can be articulate in the way that people want to be articulate in a way that opens up doors and so on and so forth. But it was really when I became Niiamah, I said, oh, because I was Nemo and Nemo opened up doors. Nemo, like the fish. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Like, oh, it's like you like that's so again, so easy,
Yep.
so palatable, so relatable.
Yep.
You gotta be a good guy, right? Um Niiamah is like, okay, that's a name. Like I'm gonna like literally like I think people were like, oh, I'm gonna have to work so hard to not mess up his name, right? But I thought to myself, I said, I could do the same things and accomplishing it as Nemo, the palatable version for everyone else out there would be one thing. But if I was able to do it as Niiamah, it would be the same thing times 10. It would actually open up doors. It would be like there's something that comes along with that, you know? And I think that that's like it's a tricky is it tricky?
I was just going to ask that question.
Yeah.
Keep
I
going.
don't know.
Keep going.
It's but like it's it would be so much easier to just do the easy thing.
Yeah.
My
To be
goodness.
Nemo.
Yeah, my goodness. Like and like look like I'm working with my people to like pull like bring Nemo back in. I'm not trying to ostracize him. I just saw Nemo. I just had this vision the other day of in a conversation where like Nemo wasn't like put into a corner, but he was like it was almost like he was like the hidden member of my council, my inner council, and he
Mm,
transformed. And he's like, "You thought I was like about being outrageous or ridiculous, but that's not what I've ever been about. I've always been about possibility." And
mm.
I saw like I have this thing in my mind. I don't know if you ever watched Beauty and the Beast as a kid or anything like that. I have to watch. I watch these now with my children now, but it's like when the beast transformed into the prince, like lights coming out and
Yep.
everything is like I've always been this, but now you really get to see me.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, like Nemo represents possibility more than
Mm,
anything else. So I have to try and bring I'm bringing Nemo back in, without having to become Nemo. It's a
Cool.
different conversation, but like that's
Yeah.
been part of what's been for me, man.
Yeah. What I'm hearing is you're bringing in the possibility Nemo, not
Mhm.
the not the not the other bits. The
Yeah, it's
possibility
like
Nemo.
I can
Yeah.
be the center of attention. I
Yeah.
can be like there's
Yeah.
a lot of fun things that come with it.
Yeah.
But there's like right now I'm like, oh, like what game do we gotta play? Yeah.
Hmm.
I think this is I think this is something that like sits really. I'm excited for your book because I even just to be able to talk about this, to name this, to say this, right? Because I haven't seen books like this, and what I love too about it is that like it comes from your perspective. So I guess the other way I'll say this is that uh Shermain, one of the biggest, like again, it goes back to Singapore. It turns out that there are more card carrying black people who don't feel like they actually like if their card would actually like go through out there. I think there's a lot more of us than we think.
I agree.
You know, I think there's a lot more of us than we think, and I'm glad that you're writing this book, and I'm glad that we're talking about these things because these are some of the intersections that we're navigating. Right? Like, it's like, go ahead.
I'm so glad you said that because that was a game changer for me too. I interviewed a guy named Joe who's a CEO at an organization, and I realized that he's a black accomplished leader, and I realized like, oh, there are more of us out there. And so that to that point, that epiphany came about 9 months ago for me, which gave me the courage, which helped give me more of the courage to write this book. So I wanted to bring that in as you said that. So
You mind?
yes.
Do you mind? Like, I feel like we're probably going to be wrapping up soon, but
Okay.
I feel like something's coming to me as we're talking. It goes back
Yep.
to the one person. Are you good with that? If I bring this in,
Yes. Yes.
all right, cool. So what's coming to me is like it's like it almost feels like African American man, like if you're writing it for the African American leader, or like it's almost like too broad for where you may be or where you may have like a unique like impact, especially with the imposter syndrome part. Like, I wonder what it'd be like to write it for the people like us that don't feel like we have the card,
Yeah.
because in a lot of different ways, your book is for the African American leader who is being successful in a white world,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Like when that happens, like we have both cards. We have
Yep.
cards that have like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it isn't. Yeah, I think that the person who's going to read the book and feel heard and seen and so forth, they have that card. They have the card, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we're a member, but we're not really in because that was what allowed us to go do this. And maybe we code switch from one place to the other, whatever it is. Like some people might be more effective at code switching, like so on and so forth. But like we're living in two worlds. And I think that there's something about this element of like, to me, it's like, what if they found out? What if they found out I'm not black enough? Right. And like, I think there's something really real in that. I don't know what chapter in your book that is already showing up in, but there's the thought for me became like, oh, what if this book was for that person?
Yeah.
And then as I think about it, I'm like, well, who else would it be for? Because like to be able to do this in like at least in the current rules of the game, like at least my understanding of the current rules is like you're gonna have this card. You're gonna have to know how to navigate on both sides.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
thoughts on that? Like this might
Yeah.
already be where you're at, but
This is
I'm
a
curious.
great thought. Initially, so the thought in my head right now is like, oh, this is for accomplished African American men who know the struggles of leading in a white world, and so they have they have they've climbed. They've had to build their own rope, and they've had to climb up their rope to get to where they're at. They've had to come out of poverty, out of whatever spaces, and they've had the courage to take the other path instead of the easy path to get to where they're at. So they've they've done a lot to get to where they're at, and that's where they're at. They're in this moment where they want to amplify their impact, but in order to do that, they've got to shift how they're being. And so I think this particular book is going to be for those folks who are accomplished in whatever they mean, whatever accomplished means to them. And maybe the next book will shift a bit, because I think what's going to happen, Niiamah, is after I put this this book out into the world, I'm going to focus in on each chapter. So maybe the next book might be just about the weight of representation, and that's a tiny book. And then the other one might be not black enough, not white enough. That'll be a book. And so
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Yeah, no. Something tells me that that's not where it's going to go. Just giving you a heads up.
Yeah, I have no clue.
I have, yeah. And the reason for this is I think that as you do this, it's going to give you some people are going to come in and are going to talk to you about more of their experiences. So instead of you, like your whole world is going to be instead of like I'm doing research for the book, everything you do will be research for the next book, and you'll find the next levels of these elements, or it might just be like, hey, look, you nailed it. Yeah, I'm not black enough, I'm not white enough. Like I think that's what we're talking about with the card right now, right?
Yep.
I'm not black enough, I'm not white enough.
Yep.
And I think that like it's just to me like there's something in it that like logically I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm curious about the rest of the titles. I'm like, oh yeah, to be able to be, and this might be my own bias, but to be able to be successful in this environment, the reason I was in the 3% club is because I wasn't black enough and not white enough.
Yep.
You know, like there was 3% of us that were able to play that game.
Yep.
You know, and I think that there's something as we're talking where I'm like, oh, that's just like that's what has been the reality. Whether or not it needs to continue being the reality, it's been my reality at least. But there's some component of it's like, oh, I was maybe I was just willing to play the game, and then eventually I got so good at that game, I got afraid of playing any other game. You know, but like, because I'm like, I probably would need to read the book of like how to be an accomplished black man in a black world. I'm like, oh, that book would freak me. I'm like, I'm reading it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, yeah, there's a bit of that where I'm like, I would probably have to pick up on that book to see how to run there, because there's so many things that I don't know that I'm not doing, but I'm aware that I'm not doing at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that I want you to know that like, ooh, that like hit me in the chest. I'm like, ooh, talk about imposter syndrome. Like, could I write that book? Like that would like, so yeah.
You know, come to find out they're both the same world at some point. But it's like I'm appreciative of you, man. I'm appreciative of the work that you're doing. I'm excited to get the book out, for you to write the book. I think it's a good time for us to wrap up. I'll probably stay on for another 8 minutes. I'm gonna hit 2 hours. I'm like, I'm gonna get that full in. It's so funny, man. Each minute compared to 10,000 is just like, it's like, oh, it just drips along, you know? But the conversation itself hasn't dripped along. I thoroughly appreciate you. Thank you for being one of the first people that I could think of to come out here. Like you're doing really great work out there. Is there anything you want to talk to or say to outliers yourself here? And yeah, let me check in, give you that space.
Yeah. Just say it. So outliers, if there's something out there that's on your minds, on your hearts, or you're second guessing something, or you need to have that courageous conversation, just say it, just do it, get in there and be in action. And that's what I have. So Niiamah, I want to thank you for inviting me to be a guest. I always know that when I come spend time with you, I'm going to leave energized. We're going to have a great conversation. I'm going to leave impacted and inspired to be in action. And you didn't disappoint today. So thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah. No, that feels real. Like there's a real element of just like literally being able to just jam with each other. It's been good. All right, Shermain, you're welcome to stay if you want. Just want to make sure like that you had a clear off road if you off ramp if you're looking for it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna all right, cool. I'm gonna talk a little bit to outliers here. But thanks again. All right.
Thanks, Niiamah. You're welcome. Bye.
All right, outliers. So Shermain's taking off here. If y'all haven't, like, go spend time in his world, look out for his book. Clearly he's getting it done by the end of this year. We'll probably have him back on at early next year. This is 2026 when the book is out, and we'll go dive even further into it. Yeah, there's a few things here that I want to just capture before we wrap up for today. And some of what I want to capture is, honestly, there's just there's a large part of me that is growing as a result of having this conversation with Shermain. And it's because he's someone who gets it. right? We got to have a conversation around. There's a lot of like intersectionality stuff that was going on where it's like, all right, we're both like coaches, we're both in the transformation space, we both like written books, we like so on. There's a lot of things that were lining up when it comes to Shemaine in particular, and it just reminds me of like going back to like that whole idea of loneliness and belonging. To like we don't have to go and do this alone, and not only do we have to do it alone, it is so much more fun when we get to do it with other people who either understand or like seek to understand. And that element of seeking to understand, I think, is something that's important. Like, like you don't like, I don't know, one of my premises and outliers, like, look, we're inherently different. So to find someone who's a carbon copy or just like us, like that's not it. I look for most people go out and try and create spaces of like-minded individuals, and I'm like boring. That's not like you can't help me, or you're going to try and squash me down because if I have a different thought, it doesn't fit the like-mindedness, right? So instead we look for different-minded, like-hearted, all right? Different-minded, like-hearted people. And Shemaine's one of those kind of people. And so my invitation is like you come and join us inside of the Outliers Edge community. If you put in the link up here right now, if you'd like to come and join us, it is the Outliers Edge community. You can go to school.com/outlier to come and join us there. We have you get priority access to these live sessions, but we take the time to make sure we get to know you, what you're about, how you show up as an outlier, and how we can connect you and support what you're creating out in the world there. As you see here, we just have many different ways to go and play, and many different ways to grow with each other. You can use the QR code that's in your upper right hand corner, and you can use that to come and join us inside of the community there. I've called it the movement. I've called it whatever it is. It's our space where the outliers come together. And continue to challenge our thinking. And this is you're going to see go back early in the conversation. We had this thing about MapQuest versus Google Maps, and there's a way that I want to be able to describe this or call this out in a certain context that makes it like super accessible for people. But what I'm really finding is that we're building this one conversation at a time. We're building this with a bit of growth each time we come along. And I'm excited to be on this journey with you. There's something that's really real, something that's really true that's taking place from here. And as we do this, we're going to continue learning and growing and going on. Now, this is a space where well, let me tell you like what you can expect going forward. So going forward, I enjoyed this conversation with Shermain. This was one of the conversation where we had a half hour on the calendar, and it just like we just kept going. And I think that this is where I want to play with. I don't think I know this is where I want to keep playing. There's a part of me that's looking to make decisions faster so that we can get more people on and have more conversations as it goes along. Like one of the things with Shermain, I was like, oh man, I wonder how awesome it would have been if he got like three other people to jam with as well, right? Like me and him are doing this, and that's great. But what if there was like two more, three more people, and we were all able to jam, and we all had our own differences of experiences that were all coming together, and uh, using that to sharpen our thinking, using that to sharpen the way that we see things or approach things, and not from a place of having to be experts, but really having our experts. No, that didn't work. But I was trying to be like experience, but like bringing our experience to the table, and our curiosity and questions to the table in such a way that we get a chance to leverage something different, leverage something that we wouldn't have created on our own. And so we're getting to play this game here. I'm excited because there is a real clear path to growth. And I'm looking at that growth through the 10,000 minutes game here of like just getting better and better along the way, figuring out what is necessary along the way, seeing what is exciting, and what else to play. Like even through the conversation, I was like, oh, you know what? Like I don't. It'd be really great if I had a system that was continuing to let people know that we were still live, right? So it's like right now I'm relying on the social platforms to let people know we're live. By default would be to go and say, okay, let me tell people that we're live once. But like, what if there's something we can have in here where either me or a producer is out there and we're sending out messages and saying like, hey, we're still live. We're leaving comments on things. We're bringing people into it. there's some elements that get a chance to play, that there's elements that we get a chance to experiment and grow from. And there's, for me, this live element, this live conversation is going to continue to be the core of the business. There may be other ways that in the future, whether I do it through a visual digital live stream, or how do I say, you know, I go to conferences and I have a videographer with me who's live streaming the whole thing. Like, I don't know exactly how it's going to look in the future, but I do know that it's going to involve me consistently being in conversations. And as we end this thing here, know that I'm showing you, and we're sharing some of our real time questions, some of the things that we are playing out and trying to understand in real time here. But in addition to that, though, in addition to all of that, we're documenting what growth looks like. We're documenting our growth journey for now and into the future. There will be a time where Shermain's tiny book would have been released 10 years ago, 50 years ago. But right now, we got to be in the space of seeing what it's like along the way. And that is something that really excites me. That's something that really, really excites me. And uh, I felt a little twinge in the top of my stomach there. There's a fear that's involved as well, because it's messy. It's messy, but it's happening. And so we're gonna end this conversation here right now. It's been really fun. Been able to go for about 2 hours, which is awesome for me. I think that, like, why is it awesome for me? It's like, this is great for me. But why is it awesome for me? Uh, it's going up against some of the longer ones that I've done so far, and that means that my skill set is growing. Um, there's also things that I'm noticing, like I brought some water, but I didn't bring enough to keep hydrating me through. So I want to make sure I go and bring even more going forward, and also just have like a little way for us to take breaks along the way, like even just like a different countdowns and things. So growing, learning, seeing what's taking place. Uh, yeah, it feels really good. And then recognizing where my thought leadership is actually playing out. Um, you're getting the what I'm learning through this component of it as we're having the conversations, and I I would really be curious what you got from this. What was exciting for you? What was boring for you? What what would you love to see going forward? What would you love to see less of? Right? Doesn't mean I'm going to do everything, but I want to learn with you. I'm here for that. All right. This is where we're going to end for today. Until the next time we talk outliers, please send some comments. Let me know, like, be a part of this conversation with us. And until then, be you on